Grind don't stop. Grind don't stop. Grind don't stop. Grind don't stop. Grind don't stop.
Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. It is August 18th, and this is Chewed Gum. It's a show about rejecting purity culture, challenging misogyny, and the effects of religious trauma on women. And if you would like to call in and talk to us about any of those topics, you can call 720-619-2288 or use the web link that is in the description. And my name is Alyssa.
And I'm Taylor. How are you doing, Alyssa?
Good.
Yeah.
I was just talking about how I just got off a call and it's for this very cool project called People's Bill of Rights, and I think they're doing a campaign now that's People's Bill of Rights 250, and they're trying to get like real Americans of all parties to contribute ideas to like a new Bill of Rights that's actually written by the people. Imagine that. And I knew that Alicia Keys had like some involvement in the project, but she popped up onto the call today and I was like, hi. And guys, I brought out the vulva pillow. I was like, we have to bring out all the stops. I need her to remember me.
Gotta show her everything. That's so funny.
Yeah, so that was cool. But if you are interested in checking out the project, I assume the website is just People's Bill of Rights, maybe .org. I'll double check, but it is pretty cool. And you can contribute, you know, anybody can contribute as many times as they want to. And yeah, so I don't know. I'm excited to like dig into all of that stuff.
Yeah, that is really interesting. I'm just like thinking, I know you said she didn't really introduce herself, but it would have been hilarious if she did.
Could you imagine? Could you, what do you say? What do you say?
There's nothing to say.
I'm Alicia Keys. You know that.
Like, nice. Nice to meet you.
And then at the end, she said something about like she has a few kids, and she was saying one of them is like 11 and sex education is like so important for that age. And I was like, yeah, like the average age of kids having sex in this country is like way younger than you think. And kids start asking questions about it in like the 5th grade. So they already are asking questions. You might as well like give them the right information. And he was like, she said, you know what? I would love if you could like make us a presentation because that would be so helpful, like even for us. And I was like,
are you gonna do it?
Of course. My post-it note says presentation. Wait, you can't see it, but it says presentation for AK. Because I can't in good conscience write presentation for Alicia Keys on a post-it.
I just love that. That's so cool. That's really awesome.
Cool. And it's cool that she's so like deeply involved in this project. Sorry, my light is so bright. So much so that she's like on a call for an hour in the middle of a Tuesday.
Yeah, that is surprising. Speaking of musical artists, have you seen this stuff about oh my gosh, I forget his name. He sings that Daylight song. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
His name
I think I know the song
David
you're
Kushner.
Oh.
And it's like I don't want to sing it.
Wait, I feel like I
drinking poison from the same vine song. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
Wait, like, I love it and hate it at the same time.
wait, I think I know what you're talking about. What about, okay, so what about him?
So that song is pretty popular, obviously, like on TikTok and stuff. And
Yeah.
he made like 7 different videos of like when atheists don't know that your song's actually about the Bible, hee hee. Basically, like all this like checkmate atheist stuff. And
Wait.
he literally made like 7 videos like that. And then he was like confused why his audience was like, you're making us feel weird about liking your song. As if it was weird. He kind of had this attitude of they're secretly worshiping God and they don't know. And I'm like, why would you say that?
Okay, that's really funny because I saw a video on, I wish now I like liked it and saved it because at the time I was like, this is so weird. It was like this girl who like it was the text on the screen was like people don't even know that this song is about God. But the lyrics of the song were like
Yeah, they
akin to WAP. So I was like,
no, yeah, it like seems very sexual. And like
that's so
and not
crazy.
it's annoying too because I feel like it's well known that a lot of Christian artists will make their songs vague to reach a wider audience, you know?
Yeah.
Because the Christian audience is so small. Well, like people who listen to Christian music, I guess. And so it's like they make the songs intentionally vague. Like, you know how Flyleaf did, where nobody knew that was a Christian band?
That was like honestly a personal betrayal when I found that out when I got older. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, well, the song also sounded like it was about a romantic relationship because
Right.
it's all just using like basic human emotional stuff if you're not mentioning God directly in the song. But I wasn't gonna say anything about it, and then I came across a video of a guy being like, atheists love this song until they found out it was inspired by the Bible. I'm like, that wasn't the issue. It was belittling your audience for liking your song if they're
You know
not
what?
Christian.
I'm gonna say the quiet part out loud. That is a fucking issue for me, and I don't want to listen to the song anymore now
That's
that I know
fair.
that it's about God.
And
Because
he's just alienating himself anyways. I'm like, why would you want to do that?
it also makes me so annoyed because it's like if you were to just for one moment in time put the shoe on the other foot and if there was a song that was really popular that was about like Islam, the Christian
Right.
nationalists in this country would freak the
They would
fuck
lose their freaking
out.
minds.
They would
Yeah.
freak out.
Mm-hmm.
So
I know, I
like
know.
be so serious.
And his attitude is just like horrible. I'm like, well, I hope you enjoyed like pissing off a bunch of your audience. So dumb.
Right. Hope it was
I
worth
was
it.
like, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, if he has any kind of management or like, I don't know what people have,
Mhm.
PR or some whatever, I'm like, they're probably so mad like that he did that.
I
But oh
know. I know.
well,
I wonder if he said something to them ahead of time.
I don't
If he was
know.
like, by the way, I'm bursting the bubble, and they were like, no.
Yeah, by the way, I'm making 7 videos about this.
Right.
So dumb.
So weird. So weird. Um, ha okay, now that I talked about Lindsay Clancy, because I think I talked about it last week, have you seen anything else from it?
No, I still haven't dove deep in it, and I don't know why, but I
Well,
haven't.
I mean, it's like a very upsetting
Yeah.
situation. So I understand protecting your peace with something like that. But I didn't realize until recently that all of the details from the case are from the prosecution and not the defense. So Lindsay Clancy's lawyer has not even begun yet.
Oh,
My boy
what?
Patrick is fucking toast. He is toast. He is
Wait, that's how
toast.
I thought they like go back and forth. They don't. They each have like
So
one big thing and then it's someone
I
else's turn.
so from what my understanding is it's the prosecution went first and they have to present their case and the defense can cross-examine. So the prosecution will bring up witnesses, the defense will cross-examine, and the defense's job in that moment is just to cast reasonable doubt that
Mm,
their client did the thing. And then it's like swapped. And so then the defense presents their witnesses and they're like kind of they tell their story and then the
okay.
prosecution can also cross-examine.
Interesting. It always
So
interests me also which cases they allow to be public versus not.
I know, I know.
It's interesting to me.
It is. It's really interesting. Wait, also is our vertical stream a different chat completely? Like they don't talk to each other? I guess not, because they're different links.
Yep, 2 different
Oh.
chats.
Whoa.
I was like seeing that, but I wasn't internalizing.
Wait, that's
That's cool.
crazy. That is very cool. Hey, vertical chat. I'm looking at this one too. Okay, that's cool. Um, anyways, you know the video that I talked about, or that you commented on TikTok recently, and you were like,
Yeah.
this is so interesting. So to give context, and then we can talk about the shitty comments that I got, because I feel like this is like a perfect conversation for chewed gum. So I
Mhm.
made a video that was inspired by the many women who I speak to every day who are what they call touched out, which is when they have kids that are constantly touching them all day long. And by the time they get to the end of the day, the last thing that they want to do is like engage in any sort of touch with their partner. So from their perspective, they're like, don't fucking touch me. And also, I'm so sorry, but like, I just need time. And then from their husband's perspective, depending on what their outlook is, they're just like confused or upset or trying to navigate whatever. So I made a video that was also about if the only time that you touch your partner is like a sexual precursor, then you train their body to expect that. And then their nervous system is kind of like every time you
Yeah.
touch them because they have to be like in protection mode.
Right.
And so I made that video and I started it. Obviously, like all of these videos have like, you know, you have to have a hook so that people actually watch it. So I started the video and I said, stop touching her boobs, stop touching her butt.
Yeah.
And then I explained like you just need to have conversations with your partner about, you know,
Yeah.
when the touch is just friendly or when you're trying to initiate sex or whatever, so you can just open up the conversation basically. The comment section on Instagram is so fucking stupid.
I went to
It's
look at it and then I guess I got distracted because I when you said that I was like, "Oh my gosh, I can only imagine." Because there was one comment on TikTok on yours that was something like I don't know what it said. I swear I saw like one,
Was it the
but
longer one? The lady who commented?
I
I don't know.
think I don't
There
know.
there was one woman who commented who was like, I think that you should talk about communication or whatever. And I was like, well, that was literally the solve that I gave in the video. And she was like, yeah, but people aren't going to watch all of it. So I'm just
Oh,
putting it in the comment. And I was like,
that's their problem.
I was
No,
like,
but it's so
whatever.
true, but I genuinely think that needs to be talked about more because I've been in this kind of dynamics before and
Hmm.
I think for a lot of women, they probably feel like something's wrong with them or like they're mean for not always winning affection, but it's so true that if that's always the expectation or that's what they think the expectation always is, then yeah, you're not like gonna even want to be affectionate in smaller ways, which is
Yeah.
good.
I
But
mean, this is
you
a
explained it
conversation.
perfectly.
I've had to have this conversation like in a small way with my husband, even. I'm like, can you stop fucking touching
Mhm.
me all the time? Leave me alone. Because it just gets to be so I don't know if we ever talked about there's like a theory of desire types.
Mhm.
Um, and there's a group of people who experience spontaneous desire, and then there's a group of
Oh
people who
yeah.
experience responsive desire. So for anyone who hasn't heard this before, spontaneous desire is when you can just sort of like drop into a sexual activity um at any time. Like there's you don't really need a precursor, you're ready to go whenever. And responsive desire is an experience where you need sexual stimulus to be able to get like the arousal system going. And then you're like interested um in other like sexy things. So many women fall into the responsive desire category. Many men fall into the spontaneous desire category. Obviously, it's not exclusive, but that's generally common to see. So a part of that like whole thing with the touch is if you have a partner who experiences responsive desire, they're not in a mind space to accept touch like that and feel good about it. Like it feels weird.
Right.
It feels like objectifying, or it might feel like I don't know. It makes
I
me feel like I need to be in like protector mode.
Yeah, and I was gonna say there are like even with your like partner or whatever, there are times where I just do not want to be sexualized. It's like
Yeah.
I don't want to feel that right now. And
Um,
I felt it feel like a little, I don't know if belittling's the word. I don't think it's belittled, but it's like
mm,
just not great. Like, I don't know. But yeah, I
yeah.
love that you talk about it because I have felt that before and I feel like nobody talks about it. And I feel like women just feel bad about it, like they're doing something wrong. And it's because
Totally.
people act as if, well, I know a lot in the Christian space. What do they say? Basically, consent doesn't exist anymore. So like
Right.
it's, free reign for everything. And I think that people even have that thought outside of Christianity and they don't even realize it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think so too. And I also think that too many women are comparing their libido to their partner. And
Right.
like, well, he wants to have sex with me all the time, but I don't. Is
Mm-hmm.
there something wrong with me? Am I broken? And in reality, the reality is you're so normal. You actually are like everybody else. You just
Right.
haven't been given this like conversation yet. Um,
Right.
and really the solve is like, is have a conversation about if you need to for like a couple of weeks, say something like out loud, say, I'm not trying to have sex with you. I just want to like touch you. That's a
Yeah.
completely different thing. Um, And you also, I've recommended this to couples before, where like for a 2 week challenge, you're only going to have sex or try to initiate sex on like Wednesday and Friday. And every other day, if this person approaches you, touches you, it cannot be. The rule is it cannot lead to sex. And then it allows your like nervous system to calm down and be able to accept that touch in a new way.
Yeah.
And I think I made some sort of suggestion like that in the video. And the people, it was so funny because there were so many women in the comments that were like happy to hear me have this conversation out loud.
Yeah.
And all of the comments that were mean were from men. Not
Of
all of
course.
the, yeah, not all of the men that commented were mean, but all of
Right.
the comments that were rude and were like gross and disgusting were all from men. And I was confused. I every time this happens, I'm confused because I'm like, I'm not only am I a woman, I also have like a special education in this. And I'm giving you the keys. I am giving you the
Yeah.
keys to the castle, and you're telling me I'm wrong.
It's interesting because I feel like it comes down to they probably know you're right and they don't give a shit. Like they just want like they just want to be able to do
I
whatever they
know.
want because it's not their nervous system that is being fucked with. So
Right.
some people
Right.
just do not give a shit.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
I know. It's so frustrating. So I really hated that conversation, and it's also like it's becoming very predictable when I like the ways in which the content I make will make people upset. It's
Yeah,
like
like
I
which
know,
videos will trigger people.
yeah,
Yeah.
like in any way, shape, or form, if I take the like power away from a man in that dynamic, it will end up on a side of the internet where I will get disgusting comments. Like the filters
Yeah.
on my Instagram, it's like I have seen every way to spell the words hoe, whore, slut, bop, all of them. And they are all
Yeah.
in my like restricted words because I'm like, this is just so ridiculous.
Yeah. And I've told you this before, but when I get the most of those comments is if I talk about a male like influencer, someone's that as popular in the like, I don't know, toxic male space is the only way I know how to put it.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. They will lose their freaking minds. They did it with Asmongold and then they did it with when I talk about how Andrew Tate sex traffics people
Oh my
and
God.
they lose their minds. And I'm like,
What
I
could they
don't care.
possibly say about Andrew Tate sex trafficking people? Like, what could you
They don't
actually
think
say?
They think if it's not kidnapping somebody and selling them into sex slavery, then it's not sex trafficking because they don't understand what sex trafficking entails. That's what they think
Yeah,
it is. So when you say he sex trafficked people because he did factually, they just say that that's not sex trafficking, even though he literally sold a course on how to do it and how to traffic women.
unbelievable. Unbelievable, dude. It's also, I feel like, and maybe this is not maybe this is like a personal thing, but if I'm ever in a situation where someone that I don't have any special information about is being accused of something terrible, my first instinct is not to run to their defense. It's to be like, holy shit, what? And then to like investigate whether that's true or not.
Right.
If you hear someone that you are a fan of sexually assaulted people, I mean, that's like the very baby part of this whole thing, just
Right.
trafficking women. But if I heard that, like, why is your response not, oh no, I should look into this? It's to defend this person?
I know. I think it's the same reason they do it with like Trump and whoever else is because they tie it to their identity. Like the red pill thing is so wrapped up in their identity. And what happens when the leader of the red pill movement is a
Hmm.
rapist or someone who traffics people?
Yeah,
Like I
I
think they
know.
don't want to accept that or they don't really give a fuck. Like there's that too, but it's probably a combination.
Yeah. It's so
But yeah, it's
crazy.
whack.
I can't understand. Um, yeah, weird behavior, weird behavior. Did you end up getting into the thing? Can you see our
Yes.
calls? Okay.
Yeah.
So we do have okay, so we have a infamous caller actually who is in the queue who I believe is a theist. It doesn't say. Oh, I see. This is okay. Well, anyway, for people who have watched Chewed Gum and The Line for a while, please a round of applause welcoming back Gohan into into the show. Hello, Gohan. Hello?
Hello? Is anybody there?
Hello? Gohan. If you can hear us, we can't hear you. Gohan pronouns she, her, by the way.
I never remember who is who until they start talking, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, maybe I'll return her back to the queue. Uh, and I'll try and pick up later because we do have another theist who is waiting. So, oh no, his call dropped. Okay,
Maybe
well,
maybe they heard the introduction and they were like, nah.
and they were like, nah. Oh, you guys have been spared. You all have been spared that
Yeah,
conversation.
count yourselves lucky this time.
Yeah. We do have another theist who called that is calling with actually an interesting conversation that I've never really had on the show. So I'm going to pull in John, who is a theist calling from, I believe, Colorado. Hi, John. Is it us? Or is something
It
wrong?
has to
How
be
are you?
us.
Oh,
Oh,
no. Okay.
yay.
John?
It's a beautiful place.
Oh, there you are. Okay. Sorry, we couldn't hear you. So if you said something before, we didn't hear you at all.
Oh, sorry.
No, no worries. I think it was something on our end. Anyway, start again. What were you saying before?
Well, I guess the question would be, you're all atheists, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So, I mean, to you, there's no evidence of any sort of like spiritual realm that we can't see and all that, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And, well, I'm not saying you're not smart, okay? I'm saying you are smart. And of course, looked into all that, right?
Well, when you say evidence, I typically say proof because I guess a lot of things could be evidence, but there's really no way to know if it's evidence, if that makes sense.
Oh,
But I would say there's no
that's
proof.
true. I mean, in science, it's got to be this experiment, right? That anybody could repeat the experiment, right, and get the same results. And
Mm-hmm.
then we can all say, we've all done the same thing here, and this is a real result. And so we, have to go off that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, you don't have that.
Right. Like we don't have that with God, is what you're saying? Or
well, not just God exactly, but like the spiritual realm. Okay, like
Oh, yeah.
spirits and stuff that we all say exist. This world we can't see, and
So,
but
I'll
also
tell you.
combined with science, where everybody's carried out the same thing, the same
Mhm.
action, and then
I'll
they,
tell you
they got the
that
same result.
I think I I think that there's a sort of unpopular opinion that I have with this, which is I do think that like as a spooky girl, life is more fun when I put myself in a place where like ghosts exist. So like regardless of whether that's true or not, I do think
I
it is
feel that.
fun. Yeah, so I that's part of it. And
Well,
the
darn
other
it,
part
you're
of
not
it,
a staunch atheist then.
well, I think it's fun, but I wouldn't like bet my life on it and I wouldn't
Well, I'm talking about science here.
well, yeah, I don't think it's scientific at all. But I do think that
Reproducible evidence that is convincing.
sorry, what was that?
Well, I'm talking about science here. I'm talking about
Okay.
experiments. You can reproduce the same thing over and over again across the world with many people.
Yeah.
They're all getting the same results, and it kind of leads us to a conclusion.
Okay.
I just don't really
Now, of
believe
course,
that
I'm
all
a
of
theist, all right,
those
everybody.
I don't know that I believe that all of those experiences, because they're not, you can't repeat them. We can't know for sure what
You
people
can repeat
saw
them, and you could
or
also
did.
actually record them as well.
Repeating what?
You can't
Well,
really. I mean, if there was like if there was a for sure on camera, absolutely without a doubt, that is like a ghost, I feel like we all would have known by now. It kind of reminds
right,
me of
right.
like, do you
And
remember years
you're
ago?
not convinced of that. I mean, you've heard stuff, right? You looked into it. You're not convinced.
I'm not convinced. I think that humans are allowed to have like whatever fun experiences they want to. My and part of it also is like, do you know the quote in Hamlet that's there are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamt of in your philosophy? I do believe that like it is
Hamlet.
good
Well, he's
practice
famous.
to like
Well, I haven't read it.
leave space for the things that we just don't know yet and like the things that are like potentially possible. Where I end up running into a problem is I'm not going to alter my lifestyle or worship something because there's a possibility that there is like another realm that could exist because I don't know that that's true. So
Yeah, why
that's where I
assume?
draw a line. It's like we don't have absolute proof that aliens have been here, but there are millions and millions and millions of galaxies, and ours is relatively young, so it would be silly to say that it's impossible that they've been here because I don't know that that's true.
I totally
And I
see
think
that
it's important to
perspective. I
leave
do.
space.
However, have you looked into that subject much?
Which
I mean, well, physics and biology, it's extremely complicated. I mean, it's far beyond me, of course. But if you hear people talk about it, it's pretty crazy. Just how far off the odds are that any life at all exists in the universe. But that wasn't my question. It was the what I began with. I mean, if you could have proof, would that help? If you have some
Well,
kind of consensus,
yeah, if there was proof, then I'd probably believe it, because that's
well, not proof exactly, just an experiment carried out enough times
well,
among
can you
enough
tell me what it
people
is?
where it looked real.
Can you tell me what you're talking about?
Well, I was told not to tell you about that, so
What?
because I don't want to get you in
Not
trouble
to
or nothing.
get in trouble by who?
But I'm just saying, if
Is
many
someone
people
holding
had
you
a
at
similar
gunpoint or
experience,
something?
Yeah,
I'm
what do you
sorry.
mean you're going to get in trouble?
Well, I'm not supposed to tempt you to do stuff you're not supposed to do, you know.
What?
Oh, okay. Um, yeah,
But it
what
would be a great
you
experiment, and it would be
I
technically proof, but it would be still
tr
dangerous at the same time.
trust me, you won't tempt us to do any of this stuff.
And I'm sure you've heard about it before. I'm sure you have.
I
But
have
I'm just
no
saying,
idea.
if we had an experiment,
Is it a Ouija board?
Oh, is that what you're talking
Is
about?
that
you're
what
not
you're
asking a
talking
question.
about?
I'm saying hypothetically, if we had an experiment, and then we could sit there and say, look, all these people did this thing all over the world, and they all got more or less the same result. I mean, that would be proof, right? But it really wouldn't be enough, would it?
Not necessarily, because it needs to be explainable. Like, for instance, before we knew that fire was fire, if we assumed that it was magic and we couldn't figure out like how physically it was happening, you might assume it was magic. People here could create
I
fire.
would.
People across the country could create fire. Fire could be created
I
all
would
over the
totally think
place.
it's magic.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But we know now it's not magic and it is science and it can be explained.
Right,
So
right.
even though people are having these experiences all over the place without the explanation and the understanding, I can't say, therefore, there is a spirit realm. You know?
And John, what happens when I
So
get a
let's
Ouija
just
board?
say,
What? Hold on one second.
well,
What
let's just say
happens
for the
when
sake,
Wait,
I get a Ouija board and then I play it and nothing happens? Then what?
then I'd say you're right. I would definitely say it. Like, you're right. This is all bullshit. It's not real.
You
And if you
would?
could do that, and expand the experiment across, well, scientific experiment, you do it in that way, then I'd be like, look, obviously, that's not real. But
Okay.
let's just say I could do something through technology that would totally look like a miracle to you, but it's really just science.
I don't know
but
what you're
that's like,
But if I
saying.
told you it was magic,
that's
you would believe me because you're looking at it.
no,
I'm
I
doing it.
wouldn't. Yeah, but I wouldn't. But that's the point, John, is like we are a community of people that are skeptics, and so we would not take it at face value and say that's magic. We would look at it and say, how did you do that?
So you don't believe
Because
in
like
magic.
no. So even
Well,
No.
tell me
like
the
I went
truth.
to
You
go
don't really
see.
believe in magic, do you?
No,
No.
I don't.
I don't.
That's so
I don't
so
either.
like I went to go see in May. I saw the Chris Angel Mind Freak show, and it was the most amazing thing I've
Oh,
ever
he's
seen.
great.
He's amazing. And I could not
Yeah,
for the fucking life of me
looks like a miracle to
explain
me.
how I couldn't explain how he does any of the things that he does, but he will tell you that he is a magician and that it is sleight of hand. It's stuff that he learned and he taught
Right.
himself. Like he will tell
Exactly.
you that, but I can't explain it. So what we're calling magic in that context is a
Tricks.
skill. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like that's sleight of hand. So no, I don't believe that like real magic happens. But also like what does that even mean? What even is real magic and how do you
Well, do you
even
know the
define
quote?
that? Do I what?
I think you know the quote. I'll
The
tell it to you, but I think you already know it.
the quotes?
Any technology sufficiently advanced beyond our own is indistinguishable from magic.
Oh, I see. Yeah, but it is distinguishable from magic because we can explain the technology that got us there.
For people like you, for you. So
What about people like me?
when you see people like
What?
you who are very skeptical and don't believe in magic, you know better. So when you see something that looks like magic, it's not magic, it's a trick. It's just
Sure.
advanced sleight of hand or technology that you don't know about yet, and it's not a miracle.
I don't know what technology you're talking about. Are you talking about AI or something, or what is being said?
Well, you ever seen the spiral over Norway?
No.
No.
What is that?
Well, it's very interesting, and it's actually technology. It's not magic or anything like that. But I'm just saying, couldn't we all be easily fooled by advanced technology, sufficiently
Yes, but
advanced
it
beyond our
sounds
own,
like
where it looks
John
just like magic?
John, it sounds like you're proving our point though, which is that all of these experiences that people are having until there is a way that we can prove that it is like, a spirit or that there's another realm or whatever, I will lean on this is something like this spiral over Norway where it looks like magic, it looks like a paranormal phenomenon, but in reality it is science and we can explain it with science.
Exactly.
Okay, well then we agree then we agree and this call is over, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, going back to the beginning of the conversation, there are things that we can't see yet in the universe that exist. And,
Okay.
well, I don't suppose that would help you believe that the spirit realm exists.
No. Why would it?
Things that we can't see.
Well, things we can't see yet. Not with science. I mean, science can only examine things it can see.
I don't know what you're talking
and
about. I
test.
don't know if you're talking about information we can gain as human beings, like the more we progress, or what you're even trying to say.
Well, that there's a spiritual realm around us all the time, but we can't see it, and science
There's
can't
no proof of
examine
that.
it.
Yeah, because there's no proof
Exactly.
for that. So why would we assume any of that is real?
That's true. I mean, if you can't examine it, I mean, if it's not real, if you can't see it, examine it, test it, it's not real, is it?
It's not that it's
It
not
doesn't
real, but
exist.
I'm not going to accept that it's ghosts. It's like if every
Yeah,
time
ghosts.
that someone
That's true.
saw a ghost and you were like, that is a projection that Santa Claus puts up all over the world to make sure that you still believe, you'd be like, that's fucking crazy. That doesn't make any sense. But just because you can't see it and you can't
Exactly.
prove it, that does. So yeah, I feel like we're like on the
Exactly.
same side of this argument.
Well, sort of. I mean, I'm a theist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But I mean, I'm trying to look at things from your perspective, I suppose. I'm saying, look, if you can't see it, you can't examine something and test it, well, it doesn't really exist, does it?
Yeah,
It's
things can
beyond.
exist outside of us testing them. I'm not saying we have every single thing figured out, but I just don't
Well, we have a lot of
assume
things figured out, that's
in a
for
whole
sure.
I just don't assume in a whole nother world that we have no proof for. If we gain proof one day, sure.
Right. So the material world, science can examine that. I mean, to a point. But anything beyond that, we can't see it and test it, then it's not real to us. It doesn't exist.
I don't.
It's not
It's
it's
beyond
not
our
that it
vision.
doesn't
We can't see it.
exist.
This
It's
is
not
all
that
way
it
too
doesn't
big.
Well, yeah, it's not that it doesn't
But if we
exist.
could test it,
It's that we can't say for sure what it is or is not. Doesn't mean that it's not real
well, I'm
to
saying it's
some,
science.
it's like if somebody hallucinated something, it doesn't just because it's not physically in front of them and the thing that they hallucinated is not there, it doesn't mean that they didn't hallucinate. They still hallucinated, but what they experienced is not what they thought it was. It's
That's not
it's
science.
okay. I don't really know what this conversation is
Well,
about anymore. I feel
science is
confused.
testable and repeatable. You can figure out an experiment and
Yeah, but that's right. But a hallucination is not a real physical thing. So you don't have to.
I agree.
All right.
But if
All
there
right,
was a
well,
way to make an experiment to test those things, it would become science, wouldn't it?
Well,
Sure.
yeah. Yes.
But, well, science is dangerous.
What?
Why is
now,
it?
now
Well-
you've said something that we need to talk about, John. What?
Well, in the past, okay, like Madame Curie. Now, that's a woman, okay? She's doing science, right?
Yeah.
She made a great
Woman doing
discovery, didn't she?
science. Woman doing science.
Yes.
Women in STEM.
Except,
The original
well,
woman in STEM.
yes. I agree with
Wait,
that.
why'd you say science is dangerous and then go to women right away? What's happening here? What is going
Well,
on?
you know,
No,
you're
I
both
don't.
women on the show, right?
Yeah.
You see what I'm doing here. I'm
No.
appealing to the
No,
fact
I
that you're a
don't.
woman, but you can still do science just like she did, except it's very dangerous. You're doing
Why is it
experiments
dangerous?
to discover this thing. It could be, well, if you're not prepared and you don't know anything about it, there could be very negative effects.
So
But
because
you're forging forward.
yeah, because we don't stop just because something has a negative effect. That's not how the world
Now, is
works.
Madame Curie famous or what?
Yes.
She is, but I don't think that the reason that she decided to pursue science was to be famous. She did it to find answers.
Exactly. But it was still dangerous. She didn't know what
But
the
it,
effects would be.
right, but like getting in a car is dangerous, but you still have to get to fucking work.
Yeah, exactly. Everyday life is dangerous. I mean, it's kind of like, yep, that's a fact of life.
And someone has to do it. I don't know why we
Right.
had to talk about women specifically.
Well, I don't know. I guess it's because you're both women on the show, I guess. Sorry.
Fair enough.
But
All right.
so she did this. She found out this new discovery, and it was dangerous to her, but it opened up this new realm of experience and information for all of mankind. Very important person. So what I'm saying is discovering realms beyond our own, it's very dangerous. You can discover it, but it might be very dangerous and detrimental to your life. But people will remember you're the person that did it.
Okay.
And I'm saying there's things in the universe we can't see yet. And you can discover it. And we might even be able to take advantage of it. But it would still be very dangerous.
All right. Well,
And in science, isn't that worth it to benefit all mankind through your one discovery and also mistake on your own person's part?
sure. All right. I don't think we have really anything else to talk about because I feel like that is stuff that, yeah, we agree on. Science includes danger, and then
Well,
we do it anyway, and then there's
I'm
stuff we
talking
don't
about,
know yet.
right, a lot of stuff. The material world is here for science to examine and to see. And then there's this realm beyond that, which you can still, using science, you can still see it.
No, we
dangerous.
can't. We can't. There's no scientists testing this that have come up with any kind of proof. And then when we ask you what test you're talking about, you won't even say it out loud. So there's no way to engage with this. This conversation
You
can't
already
go
said
anywhere.
it.
The Ouija
You
board,
already said it
yes.
when the
Scientists
conversation
can't
began.
test
You already
that.
guessed it.
Wait,
Scientists
John,
cannot test that. Number one. Number two, there are people who have played the Ouija board and they said nothing happened. So now what? So now what?
John,
It's just not
are
real?
you? Do
Oh, I
you
didn't know
feel
about
like?
that.
Do you feel
So
like
people have
John
tested it and
saying?
nothing happened?
Do you know?
I didn't know that.
Are
Sorry.
are do
So people
you?
have tested that and nothing happened.
Yes,
Wait,
there's
John,
people
are
that
you
say
not
nothing
gonna
happened.
say Ouija board? Is that the word that you didn't want to say?
Look, you're both intelligent people. You know what I'm saying already before I even think it. I'm not that
But I
smart.
just but I
So
just
what I'm
wanted to
saying is,
confirm
so they tested
that
it,
you
and some people were like, "Well, nothing happened." Well, that's information. We should
yeah,
include that in our.
We solved the case.
and
Well, I'm just
I
saying, if it didn't
also
happen for some people, well, that's something.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Well, we appreciate the call. We're gonna try and get to some
But
other people who are also on hold because I think
well, what is science? How many people did they do this and nothing happened? And then how many people did it and something happened? Well, that's science, isn't it?
No.
no.
It's not.
No.
These people
No.
did this one thing. Nothing happened.
Yeah, but for
This many people
something to
have sex
be
with a 1,000 people and they never got AIDS. But then this one person, the first time they did it, they got AIDS.
yeah,
I'm just
because
saying,
the
science,
person that they had sex with
statistics.
had AIDS. That because the person they had sex with had AIDS. There are going to be studies where
Exactly.
there's going to be
Study.
a right, but a
Is there a
study
study on this topic?
I have no idea.
No, I don't think so. Like we've
Well,
done
you just said
experiments.
some people
We've
did this
done
and nothing
experiments on
happened.
things. We have done experiments like things on prayer, and we know that like what people think
But the
happens
Ouija
doesn't
board,
happen.
have we
It's just
studied?
like these. I don't know if these things are
We
studied
have
or not,
statistics.
and probably the reason we don't know is because they haven't come out with any proof. That's probably why we're like, I don't know,
Like
maybe.
like
I'm sure.
if there was a study that proved that the Ouija board would channel like, you know, spirits and ghosts and whatever, um
Whatever. Yeah.
then I think the whole world would know about. That'd be like the shot heard round the world.
Yeah.
Dude, you'd get a Nobel Prize for that.
Yeah. Exactly.
A Nobel
So
Prize.
If you could do a study
Exactly.
on that and give the statistics and the results of it, seriously, you would definitely get a Pulitzer Prize
You would.
or whatever prize.
yeah.
Well,
I
it seems
agree,
like you
but
would.
I think so, but as of right now, I don't know that that's gonna happen. But John, we do want to get to some other calls because we have a limited runtime today. So we're gonna let you go, but we
Okay.
appreciate the call and the conversation.
Thank you.
Bye, John.
Bye.
Bye.
The fuck just happened?
I don't know what I disagree with people in the comment section. I literally don't think he's a troll. I don't know.
I don't know. It makes me feel bad when people call and they like what they're sharing doesn't make any sense and then they say something like, I know I'm not smart. And I'm like, okay, well now I feel bad. That was really
He sounds like he just he thinks that people haven't studied supernatural, and if people just studied it, but there's no way, like people for thousands of years have been trying to examine supernatural whatever, like
Mhm.
across the board. So that's already happened.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I don't know. That's all I got.
I don't know. I don't know. Well, before we move on to our next call, I want to remind you all that super chats of $5 or more will be read at the end of the show. And if you are not a patron already, you can go to patreon.com/calltheline. There are some new perks for our patrons, so you can get some really fun, exciting stuff, be included in some really fun and exciting stuff. So check that out as well. Also, after today's show, we're sending you off to Jimmy Snow and the Line, or Calling It Now, rather, on Jimmy Snow and the Line's channel. And it'll be Jovan and Ari today. So that'll be fun. And let's see. Do I have a schedule somewhere? Do. Maybe not. Okay, I'll get it. I'll get it up at the end of our next call, so I'm not wasting too much time. But we do have another theist who's on hold. Do you see this call there?
I see a couple of them.
Oh, you do? I see only one. Okay.
I think possibly we should do number 5.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
All right, cool. Let's bring in Eli, who's calling from Texas. Hello, Eli.
Hello.
Hi,
Hi.
how's it
How you guys
going?
doing?
Good.
Doing good. Thank you for asking.
What do you want to
Um,
talk about?
You sound very far away
Well,
from the phone. Are we on speaker or
Oh.
something, maybe?
no. Let me pull over. Hold on a second. Let me get myself situated here for a second.
Yeah, definitely don't be driving. That can be unsafe. So
Nah,
we want
no.
you to be careful.
I was listening in. So, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
so much better. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, that was a lot of background noise back there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I just saw your show. I saw the prompt that you said that religion hurts women, and I don't think that's necessarily true. I mean, I
Yeah.
mean, I was somewhat an atheist for a very long time. I had some kind of belief in God and the Bible, but I just didn't really follow it. And the last 2 years, I've been studying the Bible, and I read it back to back, like at least 15 times. And I went over it with a pastor, and as it broke it down, and it makes me understand that that religion is good for women. Well, excuse me. Let's back up a little bit. The belief in God is good for women, and the belief in the Bible is good for women. Now, religion itself can be divisive and can be wrong, and so we shouldn't put our faith in religion, but our faith in the one true God.
You read the Bible twice and you didn't read anything that you think is harmful to women?
No, I read it more than twice. I read it at least 15
Okay.
times.
Okay. And you didn't read anything that you thought might be harmful to women?
Well, are you talking about the Levitical laws?
Anything.
No, I'm
There's a
not
lot of stuff.
necessarily. I mean, with the Bible, okay, all right, we'll go down to the Levitical laws, right? So
No,
the
it's
Levitical
fine.
laws, right?
We don't have to go through the Bible verses, but all I'm saying is there's clearly stuff in the Bible that is harmful towards women. And even in modern day, people try and use it as a tool to oppress women. So how isn't that harmful?
the Bible, okay. The Bible, what specifically you think is harmful towards women? And so
What?
I can go and give you what verse or something that you think is specifically harmful towards women, and I will give you my best interpretation coming from like what I've been studying. So I explain it in a way where explain
The
it.
most basic thing is women are treated as property in the Bible, all throughout the Bible.
That,
I
Point
can
blank,
give
period.
that's not true. Right, go
I can
ahead.
give
Yes, it
you
is.
That's not that.
In
I
the
can
Ten-
give you
No, that's not true.
Eli, I can give you direct examples if you want them.
Okay, go ahead. Give me one direct example.
Okay, Timothy 2:12. I do not permit a woman to teach or to exercise authority over a man, but I suffer not
Perfect.
a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over a man, but to be in silence.
Okay. You want the context of that?
Sure, give it to me.
Do you know the context? So where was Timothy teaching at the time?
Girl, I don't know. Where was he teaching?
Where was he
I
preaching? He was
suspect.
preaching.
Sorry, go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you.
He was preaching. Let me pull it up really quick. It's because I think with an E.
Why does it matter?
Yeah, the
Okay,
location
but
doesn't really matter so much.
Well, it does matter because so at that time, right, when Timothy was preaching, right, he was preaching, I believe, somewhere in Greece. In Greece, right, they were believing they were believing the god of Artemis at the time. So at that time, women, the women of the temple of Artemis, right, they were they were the head of priests, right? And so when Timothy was, so as these Greek
Are you just
Jews
trying
were
to
converting,
are you just trying to put this on another
excuse me,
religion, or are you just trying to push this
no,
onto another religion?
I,
I'm confused.
no, I'm giving you the context of that verse. So
Okay.
as Timothy was as Paul was writing this letter to Timothy, right? So as these Jewish Greeks were converting to following Christ, right? There was a mixture of culture and religion. So there was a bunch of women prophetess and women teachers and pastors, right? Were trying to take power in a sense of trying to take over the church. So Paul's not against women being pastors and preachers, because we got women pastors and preachers to this day.
It sounds like
So
you
the
inserted
problem
a
is,
lot of your own stuff in
well,
there.
if you can let me finish, please. So as Paul's writing for this specific church, right? It's only for this church. It escapes my head right now because I haven't read. I believe is no second. Let me pull it up really quick. I
So
believe it's
while you
Corinthians,
pulled,
right? No, the church of no, not Corinthians. It's
so Eli, while you're looking, what I was going to say before, I didn't want to like interrupt you in the midst of what you were saying, but when people
yeah,
have the conversation with us where they talk about context, we have to take it in the historical context.
yeah.
I understand.
Ephesians, the church of Ephesians. That's where it was at.
Is this where the wives submit to husbands? Because they do that in Ephesians as well.
Yeah, and also says that husbands submit to their wives. And it says
Not in the
No, it
same
does
way.
not.
Peter.
No,
Not
it
in
does
the
not.
And
No,
not
it
in the
does
same
not. It says,
way.
wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord, for the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything.
Okay, but
The
what does
part
First Peter say?
the part where it talks about men.
Peter says, likewise, ye wives, be in I misspelled that. I don't know what subjection, maybe, to your own husbands. Yeah, that makes sense. Giving honor unto his wife as unto the weaker vessel. That is 1 Peter 3:1-7.
Now keep going. Now keep going.
There's more. I
Keep
could read
going.
more, but the point that I want to just make really quickly
No.
is when
But keep
people give
going.
me, hey, no, let me make my point. When people bring up historical context to these verses, then we have a conversation of where we're having then a conversation of now man has to take apart and contextualize things and decide what parts of it stay and still apply to modern day, and what parts of it get to live in the context and we don't take them with us anymore. And so now we have the infiltration of man into this text. And at that point, then you are doing a degree of cherry picking to determine what parts make sense for the modern world and what parts don't. And then the book is rendered useless, because I could do that with any book.
I completely agree with you, and that's why we should always live entirely how the Bible designed us to live. So I agree with you in that point. Now if you kept on going on verse Peter's, right, like we were talking about earlier, it says in that rest of that verse, Peter says also husbands to submit to their wives.
It's not the same way in the Bible, though. They make that so clear, because in Genesis, God says to Eve that your husband will rule over you. There is not an equal power dynamic, and I don't know why Christians pretend like there is when there's so many verses showing the opposite, because there's also the verse where they talk about women submitting to their husbands like they submit to the Lord, and they're compared to the church, and the husband is compared to God. There's obviously a different power dynamic.
It's not okay. Look, the issue is really is to love like Christ, right? So I'm called to sacrificial love, right? I'm called sacrificial love my wife,
That's irrelevant.
right?
That's
Eh,
irrelevant.
Uh,
That's irrelevant because
sac-
women, that's so irrelevant because women will love you back. It says like husbands love your wives. Okay, that's the bare minimum. They do that too. That doesn't make the power dynamic go away just because you're a good controlling husband.
no, there's not. It's not to live sacrificially, right? Meaning to putting the needs of your spouse over yourself, right? So the Bible calls us, right, is for both of us to live sacrificially. So it's a concept of one serving the other. So if you constantly do that, serving each other constantly, I mean that's what God calls us to be.
Do you believe that God said that men should rule over or that husbands should rule over their wives in Genesis? Do you agree with that? God said that?
In Genesis it says the woman that when God said that the woman that you would desire to rule over your husband, but your husband. I mean, I don't remember it word for word. There was the part that Eve. I mean, a lot of women they want to kind of boss their husbands a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It happens. I mean, in every
Wait.
relationship.
That didn't answer my question. I'm asking you a question. Do you agree that God made a power difference and he's saying that husbands will rule over wives? Do you understand that? Are you going to
No,
admit that's what
I
it
don't.
says?
I don't think God made a power difference. I think what God did was made us into.
Wait, hold on. No, God
How
said that directly. God said that in the Bible. That those were his words to Adam and Eve. That didn't come from anywhere else. Only God. I don't understand why you would say he didn't mean what he said. It's so weird.
no, I mean, I think so. Early in that verse, right? Early in Genesis,
It
where does
doesn't
God
change
pull
nothing
Eve?
in the story. Nothing in the story changes that
Where does
sentence.
God?
It doesn't add
Where does
anything.
God? Where does God pull Eve from?
What does that have to do with
Right?
anything?
But
How does how
Where
is
does God?
Eve being
what?
pulled
Where
from
does God
Adam's
pull?
rib, Eve
Where
being
does
pulled
God
from Adam's
pull from the
rib,
rib? Right?
Eve being
From
pulled
it,
from, I'm
yes.
answering
What
your
is
question. Okay, so if
Okay.
If Eve
And
is
then
pulled from
and further
Adam's
down.
rib, let me finish. We can't be talking over each other. We can't keep doing that to the best of our ability, okay? If Eve is created from Adam's rib, that is still a story about a woman who was created from a man. So the man was created by God, and then the woman was created by the man. And that doesn't feel better to me.
Okay. And then if you go further
And
down,
then
right?
and then she got
Hmm.
punished. She got punished for breaking a rule, and was punished more severely than Adam. So like that whole story. First of all, I firmly believe that that story is also not meant to be taken literally because that's ridiculous. I don't know if you take that story literally, but
I don't. I look at the way I look at the Bible is yes, there's literal, but there's also kind of like excuse me, my English is not my first language. Literal and like the concept, the idea of it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, conceptual.
Conceptual, yes. So, so it's like I said, Eve came from Adam, right? And he goes, "You came from me," right? And it says that a man should leave his wife and become one flesh, right? Is that to be true? And then, so you got that part of Genesis, right? At the very end, Peter says, and the Bible is that you guys are made equal under Christ.
so what does
So,
that change about what I
so,
said?
I mean, I
Nothing.
don't think in the literal, not in the literal, but it's more like the conceptual, like
So
that God made us into equals with to work with each other, not Like, I understand how the Bible has been abused and religion has been abused to
I'm not talking about
take
the
control over
abuse.
people.
I'm not talking about the abuse. I'm talking about the religion itself, what it says in your book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it does say that, but it doesn't, that's not how I interpret it when I read the text.
Okay,
but-
that's
but
fine,
it-
but that's
it
what it
doesn't-
says.
Yeah, and it's also, I appreciate that you don't interpret it that way, but the fact that the text exists and is available for people to interpret that way means that there are people who will, which renders that book useless in my mind, because you are now relying on the interpretation of men to guide people in the right way. And so then
Well,
if
the
the
Bible,
men are if the interpretation of man is creating modern day rules, then what's the point of using the Bible if it's going to have to be interpreted? It's supposed to be a perfect book. And much of it, we have conversations a lot about the historical context, that so much of it doesn't suit modern times. And the book was written by people who were not there. I mean, like, a huge chunk of the New Testament is letters that Paul wrote to, like, whatever, Corinthians or whatever. They're letters. He wasn't there, and he was evangelizing. And Paul, before he was writing those letters, I don't know if you know the story of Paul. My mom shared it with me recently. He was like a Christian prosecutor, like he was killing Christians, and then he lost his hearing allegedly, and then he prayed, got his hearing back, and then he started to evangelize and write all of these letters to people all over the place. And then those letters that Paul wrote are part of the New Testament, and people use them like an eyewitness, but that's not what happened. He was not there. And so we're just, again, it's like the interpretation of man. It's the interpretation of Paul, this random, literally random man.
Well, I mean, I read the Bible several times,
Mhm.
and I can tell you right now what Paul did in the book of Acts, right, is when that's what you're talking about. When Paul got the encounter by Jesus, I believe in that we do have a connection to God. If you God does speak to us in dreams and visions, and fasting and praying. So maybe Paul didn't meet Jesus face to face in the flesh, right? But in Acts, Paul does meet Jesus. Let's give me. All right, let's go. I want to go somewhere really quick with this. So Jesus, right? When he taught his disciples, right? No, Jesus wasn't formally trained. He was a carpenter by trade, right? Or a construction worker, whatever he was. He wasn't a rabbi. Yes, he spoke, he read and stuff like that. Where do you think he got most of his information from? His understanding of God's will is through having a personal relationship with the Father. We're speaking to God. We're praying.
Yeah, but
we're praying
but
and
he could
understanding
be
God's will.
So
yeah, so he got so is the theory that Paul got this information like as a conduit, like God was talking to Paul and then Paul wrote the letters? Because if so, that's insanely unreliable. You all are just trusting that this man had a direct line to God, and you have no idea that that was the case.
And what if somebody came out and had divine intervention with God and they said something completely different? Why should we believe Paul over somebody else, or even me? If I say something like God spoke to me, how do you decide who to trust?
How about this? I'll give you a challenge, right? Read Luke, right? And Acts.
No.
They're both written by the same person.
I will not be reading those. I'll save you the time.
I've read the Bible once before.
Taylor,
I've read the Bible.
If you read the Gospel of Luke, huh?
I've read the Bible.
Oh, you read the Bible? Okay. Well,
yeah,
then,
I don't have it memorized, but I've read the Bible. Like, I know the gist of what's in there. I know the things that highly disturb me the most.
I mean, then you know the story of Paul. The beatings that he encountered, all that stuff that he's encountered with God. I mean, like these like, look, when someone
How does that
wants
address
to
my
lie,
question?
what was your question again?
Why should we believe him over literally anybody else?
Okay, now I'm going to go there. So, okay. So all the disciples and Paul himself all have gone prosecuted and killed for what their belief, right? And trust me, man, if I didn't fully believe in something that, like, that I don't, that I'm willing to die for, I'm not going to keep on lying and possibly get killed over it.
Who said they were
If I
lying?
don't, I mean,
I'm not saying
you're
that they're
why should we
liars.
believe them?
Yeah, but lying isn't the only option. They could be delusional. They could actually believe what they're saying, just like I'm sure you believe people are believing in other religions right now, and you don't think it's real. And there's people who die for other religions. Why would they die for their religion? Why would a Muslim die for their religion if it's not true?
I mean, I think that if other religions, I mean, if I could speak on other religions, I think there's bits and truth of other religions. It's just a
So
misunderstanding or a theological breakdown that differs from the main story.
But do you think dying for something means it's true? Do you think because somebody died for something, it's true?
I mean, yeah, there's people that die for false religions and false ideologies.
So they could have done that as well.
I mean,
there's no way of knowing.
I don't know.
There's no way of knowing.
The problem is really, when it comes down to it, is that us humans, live half-heartedly, right? We live in the world. We live in the world, right? We don't live as intended. So it dampers the meaning of the Bible. It makes people hate the Bible. It makes people hate each other, because
that's not why I hate the
humans.
Bible. That is not why I hate the Bible. I don't like it. Well, okay, first of all, I wouldn't even say I hate the Bible. I hate parts of it because it's literally just a book. But I think there are a lot of parts, if you're taking it literally, it's horrible. It's immoral. It hurts people.
I mean, it's like anything. I mean, if you take it wholeheartedly and really put effort into studying it and reading it, it's actually a very beautiful book, and it's a good way to live by. Now,
yeah, but in order to do that, you have to look. But you are the one who's cherry picking, because we are giving you things that are in the Bible that are terrible, and you're telling me that we just have to cherry pick around those parts as well. It's like, I'm sorry, in what world is it just and loving to flood the entire fucking earth? The entire earth, every woman and child and animal, except for the people that were on this alleged little ark, this boat. How is that a loving and just God? And then it's like that's a part that I think is sort of brushed over.
And we're supposed to think those things are beautiful. I don't think that shit's beautiful.
It's not. And I'm looking at a little passage from Deuteronomy as well that I would like to just read, because it's about marriage violations. And someone in the chat mentioned a piece of this, and I found the little passage. It is Deuteronomy 22:13 through 21. If a man takes his wife and after sleeping with her dislikes her and slanders her and gives her a bad name, saying, I married this woman, but when I approached her, I did not find proof of her virginity, then the young woman's father and mother shall bring to town elders at the gate proof that she was a virgin. Her father will say to the elders, I gave my daughter in marriage to this man, but he dislikes her. Now he has slandered her and said, I do not find your daughter to be a virgin, but here is the proof of my daughter's virginity. Then her parents shall display the cloth before the elders of the town, and the elders shall take the man and punish him. They shall fine him 100 shekels of silver. Because this man has given Israelite virgin a bad name. However, if the charge is true and no proof of the young woman's virginity can be found, she shall be brought to the door of her father's house, and there the men of her town shall stone her to death. She has done an outrageous thing in Israel by being promiscuous while still in her father's house. You must purge the evil from among you.
It also says you should stone your children if they're being too rebellious. It also says if a priest's daughter is a prostitute, you should burn her to death. So how is that not harmful stuff?
Okay. So you threw a lot at me at once. I want to go back to what you said, right? Matthew 19:4-6. Having read, he replied that the beginning the Creator made male and female, and said for those reasons, man will leave the father and mother and united to his wife. The two will become one flesh. So they are no longer two, but one flesh. Therefore, for God has joined them together and left no one separate. Oh, that's not the one I'm looking for. I believe it's in Mark.
Wait, can I ask you
Well,
something
But
really
I-
quick? Is there any context that makes stoning people to death okay?
Yeah, there is context. I mean, we should stone pedophiles, and we should stone.
But that's not what it says.
people
Is there
that-
any
people that
That's
harm
not what it
children.
says though, Eli. That's not
is,
what it says.
Is there any context that makes stoning a woman that someone else believes is not a virgin based on blood on a
Yeah.
cloth, which is not an accurate way to tell if someone is a virgin? So I can't even imagine how many young women were stoned as a result of this.
If you go back to the Christ portion of the Bible, Christ says that he never intended that. That Moses
gave the-
himself.
but
That's what he literally
put those-
said.
Put
He
those,
gave the
That's what he
command.
said.
Moses, can you let me finish, please? Moses put that to quarrel their evil hearts. So it was Christ himself, God himself in the flesh, said that he never meant for divorce or separation of man and woman once they're married.
So you don't believe in
That's
divorce
not what
either?
his intention. I mean, we're not supposed to divorce.
Why?
I mean,
why?
if you're married under God, right? If you're married under God, married under God, you believe in God. As Christians, we're not Christians, Catholic,
Wait.
whatever it is. If you follow Christ, you're never supposed to divorce.
But
Period.
before we get into that, why are you saying God didn't intend something when he commanded it himself? Why are you saying that?
Because God himself said it in further down in the gospel that he never intended for men and women to divorce. And that was Moses
Wait.
put that in there.
Eli, what
to
does that have
please
to do
their
with
evil
stoning? What does that have to do with stoning women to death?
Well,
what are you talking
I'm
about?
not, I mean, I really don't have an answer for you on that.
It
So,
seems like
but,
every
so
time
what-
it seems like every time I ask you to address something, you just jump to something else because you know you don't have an answer for it because there's no context in which stoning your kids or stoning a random woman for not being a virgin or someone lying about her being a virgin. You know there's no context that makes that right, and you would have to admit that God commanded something immoral, right?
Well, I think that in that verse particularly, that was more like a Moses putting his 2 cents in.
No,
wasn't
no, that is
necessarily-
what in the
Well-
Bible it says God command. This is God speaking. Why are you why are you saying otherwise? That's just you're simply telling a lie by saying that.
The reason I'm not lying, man, because the reason I'm saying otherwise is because in the gospel, Christ clearly states who we all address as God, and we all
Yeah,
know
God
that
contradicts himself in the Bible all the time.
He came as God in the flesh, right? From the horse's mouth says that man and woman are that I don't want divorce. That man and women were never to be
That
separated.
has nothing to
once
do with
married.
this topic. This literally that has nothing to do
there
with
are
anything.
so many contradictions in the Bible, Eli, that people can pick and choose the parts that they want to keep and the parts that they want to disregard. So now, again, like I said, now you have the infiltration of the decision making of man that decides the parts that are moral and we keep, and the parts that are immoral and outdated and we get rid of. So you understand when we make a claim that religion is not good for women, this is what we're talking about, because there is someone who will read the Bible and read the part about stoning a woman who didn't bleed and making the assumption I have this conversation, Eli, with people every single day with men who firmly believe that you can tell if a woman is a virgin. And I'm going to tell you from a biological, scientific, factual basis, you cannot tell if a person is a virgin. Period. End of story. So when you
I
have
agree with
something
you.
like this,
I don't think. I think there's. Look, I'm not good at, or I'm not a good. I'm still in my I'm new to my walk still. I can't argue as well as I want to. Okay.
well, I think
But
it's worth
this, Eli,
worth bringing these questions to whoever you are having these conversations with, because if these are things that like you hear them and you're like, shit, I don't actually know how to explain that. That's important because that means it's striking a chord with you and your values. And that's important.
and
So you should ask your pastor or whoever it is that you're talking to.
And I also want to say, Eli, this isn't a you problem. This is an apologetics problem. This is why apologetics is known for doing a crazy amount of mental gymnastics, because to be able to explain stuff away, you have to switch goalposts really quick. You have to ignore it. You have to say something that doesn't make sense, like you saying that God didn't say that when it says directly in the Bible that he did. And that's what apologetics is. And that's not you,
no,
that's apologetics. Some people
no.
know how to throw together word salad better than others, but that's about it.
Look. I'm gonna end this really because I already gotta go back to work. But look, the way I see, you guys have a great show. I'm gonna follow you guys, subscribe, and all that. But the way I kind of see it is that if we didn't have Christ and we didn't have the Bible, we wouldn't even have America. We won't have a modern civilization. Yes, men have manipulated the Bible. We have fumbled a bunch of times and stuff like that. But modern society wouldn't even exist if it wasn't for Christianity.
A lot of modern society wouldn't exist if we didn't have slavery. That doesn't mean that I want it to have been there.
Yeah, it doesn't mean we should keep it.
Modern
God bless you guys.
gynecology was based on women who were slaves that they did all this test on. Like, that doesn't mean that the methodology is okay. But anyways, we'll let you go, Eli, and you can call back anytime, talk to whoever, and see if you get some answers.
All right, God bless you guys. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye. I will take that as a win because
Yeah, it was fine. It's I do want him to understand that him not having answers isn't a him problem because there aren't answers that make sense.
right, exactly.
And hopefully he figures that out. But like I said, there are some apologists that are better at word salad than others. So it's like harder to notice. But yeah, I do think he took into account when I said that he doesn't address what I'm asking and instead pivots to something else. So I don't know, we can just hope for the best and maybe he'll call back. Maybe he'll have something else to say.
Wow. All right, well, that was an interesting call. I want to let everyone know about the rest of the shows that we have this week because I have the schedule up. So tomorrow, Wednesday, you have to hang up at 6 p.m. with Matt, and the other host is TBD, so we'll see what's going on there. On Thursday, TACIS at 2 p.m. with Riverboat Jack and Josie. Then following that, you have Calling It Now with Luxander and Jovan. And The Line has a podcast with Jovan and Jimmy. And on Saturday, Devangelicals with Sarah and Justin. Then we loop around to Sunday. We're back at next week. The Sunday show at 1 p.m. with Matt, and the co-host is TBD. Calling It Now with Jimmy and Austin Archer, and then the Sunday show After Dark with Austin Archer and Paul Enns. I hope I said his last name right. On Monday, Calling It Now with Promise and Jimmy. The Line has a podcast with Jovan and Jimmy, and then Skeptalk at 6 p.m. with Forrest and Roxanne. And then we're looped back around to us again on Tuesday. So those are your shows for this week. Sounds great.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah. I can't believe that I didn't the callers that we have are atheists. So, and I have, this is actually, I think, really interesting. So I'm going to share this and then we'll take our atheist callers. I can't believe I didn't share this in the beginning of the call because I was making a TikTok about this and then I got interrupted and whatever, but I have to finish it. I have a maybe not so hot take, but I think a hot take, which is I think that the influencer marketing like community is the 2026 MLM, because all of these women
Yeah.
get online and they tell other women that they just have to post every single day for 30 days and get a Amazon storefront and get a shop my and get a like to know it or whatever, like all of these crazy links, and spend all of their money on these websites so that they can link to those items and then get commissions off of the sale.
And then
then
buy
on
my
top
course.
of that, exactly, then it's buy my course for $1,500 and I'll show you how to be financially free.
It's
And
so interesting because when I see those, every
Yeah.
single time I click on their profile and I see how many followers they have. Because if what they're saying is true, they should be huge.
It's always someone I've never heard of.
It's always
By the
someone with
way.
like 5,000 followers, which I'm not
Right.
knocking on anybody, but if your entire thing is I know exactly how to do social media and get a huge following and you like are at 5,000 followers, I'm gonna be like,
I don't
what?
believe you.
Yeah.
And I don't believe you. And I also saw that for the month of July, 100% of the loss in the labor force in the United States, 100% of it was women, which is
Wait, what?
so fucking bizarre. So I guess all of the labor force that was measured as a decrease in July were all women.
I saw that they were they're trying to roll back something when it comes to women's protections in the workplace. I wish I could remember what it was, but
Good. Well, I'm sure that's part of it, but I
Yeah.
think part of it is also we're having this whole like alt-right pipeline that is creating the trad wife shit, and it feels very safe and not so scary, and then people fall down into this pipeline. So I think it's partially the trad wife bullshit. I think part of
Yep.
it is now all of these like influencer thing, like everyone wants to be an influencer, which God, if they only knew, like there's so much involved in being a content creator. But they'll do stuff like, they'll do stuff like posting every day for 90 days and then they like quit their job and try and get like UGC brand deals for 200 bucks a pop. And I'm like,
It's so interesting too because like you said, this is like popular, I feel like also in tradwife, whatever, that scene.
Yeah.
But actual tradwives are not posting online.
Right.
And that's why I don't know, the whole thing, I'm sure I don't know if we've talked about it, but that whole thing with Nara Smith being like,
yeah,
or Nora Smith, I don't know, being like, I don't know why they think that I'm a tradwife. It's like, well, like there are a lot of people out there that see that and no, she's not, but it's still the thing you're giving off. And it's still the thing that you're pretty much selling because you wouldn't be collabing with people like Ballerina Farms if not.
right.
So, yeah.
I'm gonna find that statistic because I know it sounds crazy and I thought it sounded crazy, but it's a government statistic, so I'll find it for you. But okay, yeah, let's see where it was. Yeah, it's crazy, and I'm very concerned about the degree to which women are just like leaving the workforce.
Yeah, because it also ties into the whole like, your man should be a provider and you should be staying at home and then so but yeah,
Okay.
I'm seeing an uptick in girls who are like, I'm married and I don't have a job and they're like 19, 20. I'm like, what?
I know. There's been a lot of that where there's like someone who's 19 and it's like, I'm 19 and I think it's totally fine that I'm never gonna work. Crazy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put into our chat the link for the July jobs report, and women accounted for 100% of the labor force decline. That's literally what it is. I'll send it in both chats so that our vertical peeps get it also. That's one. And That's the other. So you all can see. Yeah. And then it also in this this is all data, by the way, from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And after that, this also says that brings the total net number of women who have left the labor force since January this year to 845,000. In comparison, there are 406,000 fewer men in the workforce now than January. So women are leaving the workforce 2 times the rate, I guess.
That's
Um,
rough.
Yeah. Anyway, so I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it is.
And yeah, and I really believe that influencer stuff is like the next MLM. That's
I also think
my
it's funny
hot
that
take.
every single woman who is like working for Trump, like outward facing, is fired. Like Christy Nome,
I know.
Christy Nome. Who else is it? I have a hard time remembering all their names. Christy Nome. My brain is mush right now. You know, the one who was involved in the Epstein files. Oh my gosh, why can't I remember her name?
Who was involved in the Epstein files?
No, like
What are you
who
talking
was
about?
oh my gosh.
Oh, oh my
Pam
God.
Bondi,
Pam
right?
Bondi. There you go. Yes,
Yeah.
Pam Bondi.
And
Jeez.
then there was another one. I forget. I'm not going there because I forget. But anyways, it's just funny. I noticed that he like fires all the women on his team.
Yeah, he does. But I think that I mean, he'd said before that he specifically hires women because they work harder and he can pay them less. But I think he also knows that his party doesn't give a shit about, protecting women
Tulsi
in any
Gabbard.
way. Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard as well. Um, I think he knows that. So he can, you know, degrade them any way he wants to, and no one's gonna care. He's not gonna defend them, and his
Yeah.
followers don't care.
Yeah. No, I
So,
agree.
anyways.
Also, didn't Caroline Levitt just quit?
Yes, she
Yes.
did.
Ago?
Yes,
Yeah.
she did.
It'll be interesting to see who is replacing her. I don't know.
Yeah, I would like to know as well. Yeah. Brutal. Anyways, we do have we've only one call in our queue. So if you did want to call in, there is actually space for you. We are wrapping up in about an hour, so we have space for a couple more calls actually. So if you want to call in, you can call 720-619-2288 or use the web link that's in the description and you can get onto the queue. But in the meantime, we will take a call from Jason, who I believe is a chatter, like in our chats. But I'll ask him to make sure. Hi, Jason. Hello.
Hi there, Alyssa. Hi, Taylor.
Hi. Are you Jason, like from the chat, Jason?
Yeah, I had participated a couple of times. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not
Okay, cool.
not chatting at the moment though.
Well, it's so nice to chat with you. What did you want to talk about today?
Well, we had a talk a couple of weeks ago, and I've been reflecting on sort of things that you said, and I thought I'd try and approach it from a different angle, and it also sort of relates to a couple of experiences I had recently. But yeah, so I think looking at things in terms of gender, as I said before, can be problematic, and in fact, any different categories that we break things down into can be problematic, because it can lead us to assume that people will be on our side or have similar views just because they have a certain similar characteristic to us, and then so that can lead us to make bad assumptions. It's basically prejudices. Did I explain that clearly?
I think so. Is it?
Oh, are you there?
Sorry, go ahead, Taylor.
I was just gonna say I think so. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if I agree with it, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. So let me give an example because yeah, when we spoke, Alyssa, you were talking about a situation where you know, if you're walking down the street at night, and there was a man following behind you, you might feel like crossing the street.
Hmm.
Not sure if you remember that, but
Yeah.
and yeah, um, obviously that's an understandable situation, and probably that's a situation that all of us have been in to some degree, where there's people that we don't know around, especially at night. Um, and yeah, recently I went out and did some volunteer conservation work, with a group of men and one young woman. And I thought, oh, that's a similar sort of situation, where you might think, oh, yeah, it's obviously yeah, one woman in the company of men in a remote setting, but of course there was never any thought that maybe any one of us would have been unsafe. I mean, I'm LGBTQ, so you know, I could have also felt endangered going out with these red-blooded men, you know, who I assume are straight. Some of them are hunters, etc., into this forest environment. Um, and I kind of thought, well, what makes it sometimes safe and sometimes not safe? And I think it's more about the situation than about the gender or race or any other characteristics of people. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think that's true generally that like, if it's broad daylight and I'm walking in my neighborhood that I know is relatively safe, I don't need to cross the street if a man is walking on the same side as me. And the whole purpose behind that conversation was I will always prioritize my safety over making someone else feel comfortable. So yeah, if my safety doesn't feel like it is at risk at all, then yeah, the context has changed and now everything else as a result changes.
Yeah, I feel like I think I said this last time, but I just feel like probably those not probably. I think those statistics are important when it comes to a lot of things. So that way we're kind of like what Alyssa said, we're um like analyzing how safe or unsafe something is. And I think that's why people do that in the first place. But I do recognize that the gender stuff, sometimes people lean into it too hard of like making it so, I don't know, divided, I guess, but with like certain topics, I don't know. But I think that's why statistics are used a lot. I don't know. I don't even know if that makes sense.
I don't know. I think oh wait, did we lose him?
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh
But
no. I was like waiting for him to reply.
I think
um
we had this conversation literally 2 weeks ago, maybe.
yeah,
Or
yeah,
like,
we did have like a version of that conversation. I, it I don't know, it's like what I said. If you don't feel your safety is at risk, then you don't have to do anything about it. But if you do feel like even a little bit your safety is at risk, I'm happy to have you do whatever it is that makes them feel safe.
right.
So I don't
Yeah.
know. I also saw in the chat, but I can't find the comment. Maybe like a moderator removed it, but I saw someone in the chat say that 43% of women bleed the first time they have sex. And I just wanted to address that really quickly because that is, I don't know that that's true, but I want to talk about why people bleed when they have sex for the first time. And reason has nothing to do with the hymen more times than not. It is more likely a lack of lubrication because you're nervous and your arousal system isn't going. And so there's not enough lubrication. Most people, when they have sex for the first time, are like not using lube. And then there are all of these like micro tears that form on the inside of the vaginal wall. So if there is blood, it is more likely from the vaginal wall sort of like getting scraped a little bit than it is from anything that has to do with the hymen um on average. So I just
That
wanted to
makes
address
sense.
that. Yeah, because that is an important thing to be clear on.
Yeah, I agree.
We have a caller who's a woman and we haven't spoken to a woman on the show in so long.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it has been a minute. I haven't even
It's
thought about
been
that.
forever.
Do you think the last woman was when we talked to that guy's wife?
Oh my God, yes, I do. I do think that was the last one we spoke
That's
to.
crazy.
Unless I'm forgetting something, but that is so crazy.
Did you and Promise ever have like women theists call in? I feel like we literally never have that. I can't remember a single time.
Very, very rarely. Very rarely. And I've only, in the time that I've done this show, which I think, when did I start it? I started it 2 years ago, maybe. And in the entire time that I've done this show, only one single time has a woman called to debate abortion with me.
Wow, that's
One
kind of
single time.
crazy.
Isn't it?
Would you like outside of this show, would you debate abortion?
I kind of haven't, but I would, I guess. Like if it came up in some way, I guess I would.
Yeah, I think you'd be good at it. That's why I ask.
Thanks. I mean, it's always the same conversation where it's like, I actually don't care what your personal beliefs are, but you need to make this legal because
Yeah.
you should not be in control of the decision making for everybody.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's sort of like closed book for me.
I know it's kind of hard to even debate it because it's like, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. But are you looking for this? Oh, okay. Anyway, should we take our lady caller?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, this is Sophie who's calling from Brazil. Hello, Sophie.
Hello there. How are you, ladies?
Hi, good.
Good,
How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for asking.
What do you want to talk about?
Well, so I've been an atheist pretty much since always. My dad's an atheist and my mom's like an agnostic. And one of these days I was talking to my partner about how my my two biggest fears are of dying and of being co-opted into a religion. It's just like this kind of irrational fear I have almost. Because I just feel like so naive and like vulnerable to religions. There's just so much I don't understand. I live in a bubble in like a huge city. Not a lot of the people like that hang around me are religious at all, and the people I do know who are religious are very progressive. So I just feel so vulnerable that like in a vulnerable time, I might be co-opted into a religion, you know, and I don't know, I'm just so scared of that. And I feel like two things come up quite often when people talk about like why it's hard to leave a religion. And I feel like those are probably the same things that would be enticing about a religion, which would be community and quote unquote spirituality, right? So that's kind of what I wanted to understand. I think both of you were religious at one point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would you call what religious people call spirituality? Like how can I grasp that concept, you know, as someone who has never been a part of a religion?
I think it's hard to grasp because it's so broad and it means different things to different people. I feel like in Christianity, at least American Christianity, evangelicals, I know that they just mean they have a relationship with God, which typically is reading your Bible, praying, aka like talking to God, going to church, and that's about it from my experience. But like I said, it's so broad that there's so many different things that people could mean when they say spirituality. How about you,
Yeah.
Alyssa?
Mhm.
I feel like when people are many times people come to spirituality and they come to religion looking for community, which you talked about, but also looking for answers. Like they're looking for answers in times that are really tough. Like if I could tell you, if you experience a really tragic death and I can tell you that you will see this person again, in the afterlife and they are safe and happy and at peace. And like, of course, that is such an appealing message for people. So I think it's people looking for answers. It's people looking for community. And I don't know, spirituality just provides answers to me. And I think that sometimes people they'll call in and they'll say that they'll ask us how we get our moral code, if not from the Bible, which is hilarious because the Bible says some crazy shit. But they'll ask things like
Yeah.
that, where I think then we lean into like, well, we can also be humanists and we can also like, if my goal and my like whole like motivation is to do as little harm as possible to people around me and contribute good where I can, great.
Mhm. Yeah. And in your opinion, is there a way to like go back or to start believing? I don't know.
Like,
I don't
could
know.
we just go
I
back
don't
to
even know how to
being
phrase the question. Yeah, yeah. Not you
religious?
yourself, like personally, but a person, like a general person.
Yeah, people can change their minds all the time. Like, I don't know how many times people change their minds, but I know that there are people who will switch back and forth and like be convinced for years of their life and then be unconvinced and then be convinced again. That definitely
Yeah,
happens.
yeah,
But I did want to say, I feel like if you do have if you build a strong sense of community in your life, I feel like you would feel less vulnerable to something like religion because I think that is its biggest asset. And like how Alyssa said that you can have something like humanism, I feel like a lot of people want spirituality because they think that you're supposed to have something outside of human life for some reason, and they've been told that is what's important, and for some reason, just caring about other humans isn't enough. But that's just something we
yeah,
completely made up. And I feel like that's a big reason that people feel like they need spirituality because they're told their whole lives you're supposed to believe in something bigger than humans for some reason. And yeah, so people feel like they need it. But I do think in humans, obviously, we want to be part of something bigger. It's just depends on what that thing is.
for sure. Yeah, I'm definitely working on building community. It's not super easy, and
No, yeah,
you
it's
know,
not.
especially in Latin America, everyone's so religious, and I feel like most people
Mm-hmm.
who aren't religious don't really want to organize around not being religious. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, yeah, it
Um,
does.
but I guess we ought to try, right?
Yeah, it's hard because those kind of groups are few and far between. And I don't even know what it's like in Brazil. I know it's like few and far between here, so I can only imagine what it's like there. I have no doubt that that's really difficult, especially just in our like day and age period. It's hard to build community because
Yeah.
a lot of people have turned very individualistic. I don't know how it is there in Brazil though, so I'm not sure if I can speak to that.
Yeah, I think it's a little less intense here. I've been to America, and I did feel like people were generally more individualistic.
Mm-hmm.
But it has been, I don't know, I feel like it's a trend. Eventually, the values kind of are exported to everyone in the global south. So I do feel like there's a tendency of people becoming more individualistic as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's so important to organize against like Christian nationalism, because it is a growing tendency here too. We have our tropical Trumps And
Yes.
I just think it's so important for us to be aware and try to fight it somehow. And I do think there might be, like, these days I have been listening to you guys live a lot, and I've noticed quite a few Brazilian callers. So, I guess
Yeah.
there might be potential there.
Yeah, I actually watched a documentary about Bolsonaro, right? Is his name? The one that's like Trump?
Yeah,
Yeah, and it
yeah.
was so interesting. I didn't know about him prior because I mean in the past I wasn't too into politics, but it is crazy that he was using the same exact he is like a copy paste of Trump, especially the
Wow.
way
Yeah.
he uses evangelicals specifically. And it was crazy watching it because I'm like, this is such a powerful and useful tactic. You can watch it like
It
work
is.
over and over again. And sometimes it's like different variations, but those two were like the exact same. It's crazy.
Yeah, and even like the moral stuff that they are so concerned with all the time,
Yes.
like
The culture
it's
war
so copy and
stuff.
paste. Exactly, culture wars. I forgot that word. Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
rough. I just wish that there was a little bit more room for atheists to breathe.
Yeah.
Because I feel like also the kind of atheists we have here are kind of the anti-woke.
Mm,
Um,
Oh, really?
that's not really cool either. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they're conservative and atheist? Like
Oh
still
yeah,
conservative?
That's
Okay.
so interesting. I feel like we don't have that so much.
yeah. We
Yeah, at
do
least
have those
not.
here, and they are like
Yeah.
dads who listen to rock and like motorcycles, and
Oh
they're
my
atheists.
God.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
interesting because I've seen a lot of conservatives that were pretty much atheists turn to religion because of like the MAGA movement. Otherwise, I don't think they were going to be religious at all. Um, but
Totally.
I feel like the reason we don't really hear from conservative atheists is because I feel like online specifically, there's not really a space for them, I guess. Because like,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Where are they gonna go and like what exactly is what are they trying to
Yeah.
do? Yeah.
I feel like
Well, I feel
I
like
feel like yes.
go ahead, Sophie. No, you go
Sorry.
ahead.
I wish there was like the line in Brazil. I've noticed that it's been a growing movement for sure. Some creators and politicians have been kind of organizing around, especially like fighting fundamentalists and Christian nationalists. But I wish there was something like the line, so people could help tell their stories. It's just
Yeah.
so I think like it's not even like just tell their stories, but be able to discuss that kind of thing because I think it's so taboo here to talk about religion, and we have to talk about it.
Yeah. Do you still feel like in Brazil it's as much of a threat as it was before? Do you feel like it's the same, worse, better?
I think it's a little less intense than it was in the last election.
Mm-hmm.
But here we are again, and I do feel like there's a solid base, just like there's for Trump. There's like that base that is kind of so difficult to get to, and
Yeah.
it's a very like substantial amount of voters because voting here in Brazil is mandatory, right? You can't not vote. You can't
Oh
vote
wow.
blank, but you
Um,
can't not vote. Yeah.
wow.
And last I had seen it was around like 30% of the um, voters base that was like they're going to vote for Bolsonaro's son because Bolsonaro is actually in prison and he cannot be
Yeah.
elected.
Yeah.
So his son
I
has
loved
kind of
hearing that before. Sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, it was awesome. I'm not gonna lie. I was very glad that happened.
I know I'm jealous because like our version, I'm not sure that'll ever happen. I don't think that'll ever happen, but that's interesting because I didn't know his son was trying to run or whatever. That's crazy.
Oh my God, yes, you guys should catch up with like the Bolsonaro sons like
I definitely
shenanigans
will.
because they have been like trying to so like the tariffs there was some talk that another of Bolsonaro's sons actually articulated so that the tariffs would happen. So yeah, just like it's intense,
It's
you know.
crazy.
So I would definitely catch up with their shenanigans.
Yeah, I definitely will. It's pretty maddening to watch the same things work over and over again on people because you want to shake them and be like, can you not see how they're using religion to gain power, do whatever they want to do? And it's really hard because I feel like they know that their identities are so wrapped up in their religion. That's why they're so loyal to the whole thing. And it's basically impossible to get people out of that if they don't want to be out of it. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it hurts my heart a little bit, you know, that I
Yeah.
know there's so much pain and fear, like people genuinely being afraid they're going to hell. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel so bad about it. I can't even imagine.
Yeah. It is really sad that people are genuinely scared of hell. It makes me sad.
yeah. I remember when and I've said this before on the show, but I remember when I like really let go of religion. Like I was like, I'm done. This was my final straw. And I was like, I just don't want to participate in it anymore. When that day came for me, I felt so free. I felt so like liberated, just not dealing with like the possibility that a hell exists, the
Yeah.
possibility that like a person could be like possessed or demons or any of that kind of shit. Like just releasing that from my life was so
Like the
freeing.
constant paranoia of
Yeah.
so many different
Yes.
things. Yeah, and it makes sense that so many people get rid of the fear of hell first because that's what holds it all together. That's the most powerful tool in the entire thing is fear. And it's
Yeah,
powerful and it's sad.
yeah. I'll just tell a little anecdote and then I'll let you guys move on. But I remember when I was pretty young then. So my dad is like an atheist. Like he is very like astutely an atheist. So at 12, I was very conscious of like religion and everything. And there was this one girl who lived in the same apartment complex as me. And for some reason, she asked me if I believed in God, and she went on this tirade. When I said no, she went on this tirade like, "Oh, you're gonna go to hell." And I remember I didn't feel angry, you know, that
Mhm.
she was telling me that. I just felt like so sad, and I remember telling my dad like, "This girl thinks she's going to hell." She's like, she was like
Yeah.
10, 11 at the time, and I just thought it was so fucked up. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's the kind of stuff that just stuck with me as I grew, and now that I'm an adult and I revisit that memory, it just breaks my heart, and I wish people could, you know,
Yeah.
breathe and not
And
have that fear.
yeah, I feel like something I have had to, especially at the beginning of my deconstruction, I had to tell myself because, people really close to me in my life would try and basically say they don't want me to go to hell. And I had to deal with the fact that I was literally ripping their hearts out. And I could see it. Like I would make them, I know I was making them cry, like to that point. And it's so hard because, like I find it to be offensive that they think I deserve hell, right? But I also know why. Like I know they're fully convinced it's real. So it's almost like, yeah, I have sympathy for that at the same time. And it's hard to I don't know. I've just tried to hold space for both, like how you said, realizing that this is a really real fear for them, I think is something important to remember. And yeah, it's a really difficult thing to deal with, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. I wish you
outrage and
were
compassion.
I wish you were on when we were talking to Eli, who like I wish we took your call first because we were talking about how how the Bible can hurt women. And it's even stories like that where it's like it's not specific to women, but just people carrying that burden is so like traumatizing and it's not necessary. It doesn't have to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I have religious trauma, growing up in a very Catholic country and environment. I keep that Catholic guilt with me all the time,
Oh my
even
God.
though I never believed in God or hell. So it
Yeah,
sticks with us.
it definitely does.
I
I
hear
agree.
that. I hear that. Well, is there anything else you wanted to add before we get to our very last caller for the evening?
Yeah, no, sorry for being kind of a downer there at the end.
No, I think
Um,
I like talking about
I
this
do think
stuff,
this,
so you're good.
yeah, I do think it's an important conversation. But I'll
Hmm.
let you guys go. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Thanks for
I
calling.
love the
Thank you for
show. I watch it
calling.
all the time. And I hope
Aw,
you have a great week, ladies.
Thank
thanks.
you,
You
Sophie.
too. Bye, Sophie.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Oh, what a breath of fresh air.
I know, that was nice.
I know. And
She's
we
like, sorry
never,
for being a downer. I'm like, actually, it kind of felt like the opposite.
no, it was nice. Like literally like a little breath of fresh air in the midst
Yeah.
of crazy town. Um, well, so we'll take one more call before we wrap and we send you off to Jovan and Ari. But if you want to get in your super chats of $5 or more, we will read them at the end of the show, at the end of this call, actually. Um, and that's it. I didn't know that there was a tropical Trump. That was news to me.
Yeah, you should. I'll have to figure out which documentary I watch and send it to you because it's crazy. Like your
Yeah, I
mind
would
will
like
be
to know.
blown. Yeah,
It's fucking everywhere.
it is.
All right, I'm gonna pull in Sanji, but I want him to let me know if that's how you pronounce your name correctly. Who is calling from California? Hello.
Hello. Yes, you pronounced my
Hi.
name right.
Okay, great,
Hi.
Sanji. Nice to meet you. Thanks for calling.
Thank you. Yes.
Uh,
So the
what did you want to
subject.
talk about
Yes.
today?
Oh
Yeah, go
yes.
ahead.
I'm just encouraged and excited because when I see you girls who were debating Christians or any theist, um, I know I remember the time when I was torturing myself with eternal hell, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I was supposed to become a priest, but then after
Oh
4 years
wow.
of study, I gave up everything when I found out something very important. When you read the Bible, nobody actually read it properly because it's all in ancient Greek. We took away
Mm,
the medical translation of the text.
Hmm.
Eternal hell does not exist. It does not
yeah,
exist in the text.
right.
Well,
And a lot of it
that.
is a copy. I'm sorry. Yes, you were
Mhm.
saying.
No, you go
You were
ahead. I
saying.
didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, oh, no, it's okay. Yahweh is an attempt to copy the goddesses from the Greek tradition. It instead of democracy, it's becoming a tyranny, basically. Yeah.
Well, so this is, but I want to talk about the translation part because it's that's part of the conversation that we have with theists who call in who are believers in the Bible is once there's been so much infiltration from man, then how do you trust that anything in there is honest or fair or what you want it to be? Um, and then, you know, beyond that, there's like the contextual interpretation we were talking about with Eli as well. So, um, yeah.
Um, I I also remember it being a big deal to me figuring out that there's not one solid idea of what hell is in the Bible. It's kind of all over the place. And growing
Mm-hmm.
up, they talk as if it's like this one concrete thing that's always been. And the more I looked into it and realized how concepts of like what people have called hell was heavily influenced, obviously, by the time period they were living in and Hades and stuff like that. And that was something that really woke me up because I was like, oh, it's like anything else. They are taking from the things around them and making their own thing, essentially. And yeah, that was a big thing for me because hell is always spoken like it's so objective in the Bible, and it's not at all.
Yeah. If you disobey Yahweh, the Hebrew Yahweh, you go to Greek hell.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
That's what they
exactly.
teach.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's funny.
And if I were, let's say I pretend I'm a Christian, if I knew the text, if I read it, it says aionios punishment. Aionios is an age; it's not even eternal. Yeah,
Mm.
and you wonder why it's an age, because it's all a right. If you think about religion, Plutarch says in his ancient writings, he says that if you're going to talk about religion, you need to always have the rights involved. So if we don't have that mindset when we read it in ancient Greek, we're just making things up basically. And yeah.
Right. Right. And some people, especially fundamentalists, will expect you to believe that between now and when parts of the Bible were written, nothing, like there were no translation errors, there was nothing lost or added, or it's just kind of a wild, I didn't think about it when I was a Christian, but that is a wild claim to make, that it is all perfectly God's word, because some people believe that. And considering how flawed man is, that's just an impossible thing to believe.
To add to that, the story of Mary Magdalene being was that when Jesus forgave her, that didn't exist in the original text. I can guarantee you could Google it. Even the first, second, third John, when it talks about the Trinity, it says Father, Son, Holy Spirit. The original text, it says water, spirit, and blood. There's a lot of changes for the sake of control. Basically, you use eternal hell to control everyone, and then you follow. Yeah, you take advantage of that fear.
Right.
If I want to add one more thing, I know one more thing. Pantocritera, the all creator. If you look at the word Pantocritera, that Paul mentions that God is the all creator. The first time, if you go through the timeline, Pantocritera is not really Yahweh. There was a goddess that owned that title, and she's Mother Nature.
Interesting. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah,
that is very interesting.
So Sanji, are you Greek oh my God, hello, Greek Orthodox?
Oh no, I'm not I'm not Christian. I think I'm agnostic, but I might be agnostic. But for the sake of, since I am talking about goddesses, and in a way, I kind of fear what the unknown is, in a way, for respect. I consider perhaps theist would be the best description of me.
Understandable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. So how do you know the do you know how to read Greek and you're like reading it yourself, or are you just sort of like studying it in the Greek translation?
So I try to connect with Dr. Amon Hillman. Sometimes I do contact other philologists, but it's it's all independent. And this is not a new thing. In the 4th century, Africanus and Origen were debating about the Hebrew text, because Africanus says to Origen, they were 4th century Christians. They said, Father Origen, why is that there's a Greek pun inside this book of Daniel? And they were like, eventually they just took it off. So
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, they didn't have an answer.
That mean, yeah. What it means is the Septuagint, the Greek translations, has always been the original. I know it's and the Hebrew translation is an attempt to overthrow the Greek mind.
Yeah, that's wild.
That is interesting.
So,
I know there's so much I don't know surrounding that, but I know there's a lot of information there.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, do you have anything else you want to add before we wrap up for the evening?
Oh, that's all. I thank you so much for letting me speak. I was just excited and I wanted to help you guys' endeavor as much as I can.
That's interesting. It's really interesting.
Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, we haven't heard that that lens or that perspective before, so I'm glad you shared that and you've given us some stuff to do some Googling about.
Yay.
All right, have a good rest of your day. Enjoy the evening, and we appreciate you calling.
Bye-bye. Have a good evening.
Bye.
Bye.
That was interesting.
One thing that did blow me away when it came to like the Bible and stuff, and I don't know too much about this, so I can't really speak on it that much, but in parts of the Bible, God used to have a wife, and I'm not sure if she's still like mentioned anywhere in the Bible. Maybe chat knows. But when I figured that out, I was blown. I was like, when did they decide that he shouldn't have a wife? Because I think in that, I don't know if you want to call it theology, he like separates from her at one point. So they're like kind of like divorce. And I'm like, I wonder like
they
I
didn't
don't
want the
know.
divorce, so they said, "Oh, she doesn't exist." Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but it's definitely interesting.
That is
That's for sure.
very interesting. Wow. I love all of that stuff. I follow Monty Mater, who is like
Oh
a
yeah, we're mutuals on TikTok.
Me too. When she followed me back on Instagram, I was like, "Are you sure?"
You know what's funny? I didn't know who she was, but somebody sent me like I have now for a couple months, but somebody sent me a video of her the other day and they were like, "You should watch this girl, you would really like her." And I was like, "I know her now." So,
She's awesome. Yeah. She's so smart and she's a biblical scholar, so like
that's so cool.
I don't even think she would do a show like this because she gets so deep in the context of everything because she knows it so well. But it's so like the stuff she shares is so interesting and
Yeah, because
I like all of that stuff.
she was just in a debate.
Yes,
I
what the hell is
recognized
that
her
woman?
face. Yeah,
Me too. I
I don't know
but it
her
was like
name, but I haven't
an
watched it
abortion.
yet.
I started it and it was sort of them talking past each other where like Monty would be like, "What is the biblical reason why you believe this is the case?" And she wouldn't give one. And then she would give like her, "I just believe it's murder no matter what." And then Monty would give like, she would say something like, "Well, abortions happen at this many weeks and they're not viable and all that stuff." And she would just, she was just moving the goalpost the whole time.
Yeah,
And it's frustrating when people do that because then it's like, well, now we're not really even having a conversation. You just want to hear yourself say the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes that's why I get irritated. I'm like, no, please address what I said. Like, you have to address what I said because otherwise people just do that ping-ponging around. Does she like debate normally? Is she like a
Monty?
debater? Yeah.
I don't really think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. I wish she would, but I think, I don't know that like debate is really the format that she prefers, but yeah.
Yeah, understandable.
I got it. All right, should we get to super chats before we send you guys off to Jovan and Ari?
Let's do it.
All right. So this first one, is it from okay, cool. I just want to make sure that what I was reading on our back end was the same that was on the screen. And it is. $5 from Elliot K 1986. Alyssa, I asked Taylor and Sarah last week, but I also wanted to ask your experience as a woman in the skeptic space. My experience is I feel it's mostly positive, but when it's negative, it's because there are a lot of people who are like upset that I don't know and licked the butthole of every atheist that's ever written anything. And I just
there's that.
I just like don't care. I just don't care. I know what I believe. I know the reasons why I believe it. And I don't need to do that. I don't need to be further convinced. I don't need to like rage bait myself. Like I'm good.
Right.
But there have been times where people will be in the chat and be like, "You don't know Joshua Appledick? That's crazy." That's great. And you call yourself an atheist. It's like, yeah, because my atheism, my lack of belief in God has nothing to do with some fuck ass man who wrote a book 30 years ago. What?
No, exactly. And you're so right to have those feelings.
It's like very like it's intellectual elitism a lot.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, for sure.
So fucking rude. Anyway, That's my experience. But most of the time it's positive.
I loved when somebody in the chat called it, and I've used it a lot since then. They called it intellect, or like if I get it right, but they called it intellectually jacking off or something. And I just thought that was
Yes.
so funny and so accurate to what they do.
Well, you want to know what it is? It's like if your goal is to make yourself sound smart, then I guess you're doing it. But if your goal is to like have a productive conversation, whether you're like trying to change someone's mind or not, then you're failing. You're not doing a good job.
Yeah, and
You're
sometimes
unable to read the room and you're doing a bad job.
yeah, and sometimes they're using verbiage that they can't even explain to me what they're saying. And I think they
Right.
rely they rely on like me just being like, "Oh well." Like
Yeah,
no.
that's the Phil bros who call in. They're so annoying. Anyway, thank you for that super chat. I appreciate it.
Are you sending them or do you want me to? I know some hosts prefer to manage it themselves, so I'm just checking.
I can do it, I think. Did I do it? No, I didn't. Oh wait, hold on a second. Let me make sure that I know how. Okay, I did one. Okay, I know how. I could do it. No, I didn't. I clicked the same one. Hold on. Okay, I got it. I could do it. I could do
You
it.
can just hit send on the next one without hitting X on the one you're on. Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
$5 from Michelle from Oklahoma. Michael from Oklahoma. I do that all the time. I remembered to like without permitting by friends here this time. Wait. I remember
Prompting by friends here this time.
prompting. Oh my gosh, I can't read. Early thanks to Alyssa and Taylor for the great show. I suspect they'll have again. Of course.
Thanks. I forgot to tell everyone to like the stream, so I'm glad that you did it proactively.
We're proud of you.
Another $5 from Michael from Oklahoma. A woman feeling touched out seems reasonable, shouldn't be an issue, should be respected. Oh wait, I'm not a Christian. Now it makes sense. Well, you know.
Yeah.
It's not just like a religious tie. It's just like these men who feel very entitled to a lifestyle that they don't deserve.
Yeah. Region. $10 from Uncooked Toast. I don't have kids, but the touch thing is so real for me. Not shocking though, as a man, every GF I had has, oh my gosh, I'm like, my mind's mushed. I have ever had has always been instantly cool about it rather than offended and angry. Weird. Yeah, it is weird.
Well, isn't that annoying though that like every girlfriend you've ever had was like immediately respectful about you not wanting to be touched all the time, but it's like a giant topic of conversation when the roles are reversed. It's so fucking annoying. $5 from Michael from Oklahoma. Oh my God, thank you, Michael. A male caller recognizing that Alyssa and Taylor are smart. Well, that's unexpected. Where's it gonna go from here?
I couldn't tell if it was sarcasm or not at first. I was kind of sitting here like, I think he was serious.
They like to butter us up.
Yeah. I think that is what was happening. Alyshana Silverbow, $5. I was going to send a simple joke about cremation and how it was my final hope for something, but a smoking YouTube censorship is wild body. Wait.
What is smoking hot? Oh, okay. So Alyshana sent the joke anyway. A smoking hot bod. Okay, so the joke was going to be I was going to send a simple joke about cremation and how it was my final hope for smoking hot bod. That's funny. I love it.
I got so caught up on the censorship thing. I was like, what?
We miss you, Alyshana. It's nice to see your name pop up. $5 from Space Barbarian. Sufficiently ignorant people can't distinguish between magic and science, technology, and trickery. Riffing on Arthur C. Clarke.
Okay, now I have to ask.
What?
Did I pronounce that one wrong?
Which?
The last
Alyshana?
one. Yeah.
I think you said it right.
Okay. I just want to make sure because there's the other name that
that was similar.
Just making sure. $5 from Elliot K. The conversation with John is a bad metaphor. It's literally two women being forced to listen to the ramblings of a crazy man. It'd be like that sometimes.
It'd be like that sometimes. $5 from Michael from Oklahoma. Anyone doubting Taylor and Alyssa's patience, forbearance, and well-meaning really needs to watch this John clip.
True. Proof that I'm patient.
Yeah,
And he
proof
saved
that
that
we
clip.
yeah, proof that we are so patient. Right. And also that we are capable of having conversations with a person who we disagree with.
Yeah.
Because that always makes me so mad. I think there was someone in the chat actually whose name was also John. It was, oh yeah, John Martin 4636, who was in the chat just like talking mad random shit, and everyone kept telling him to call in and he won't, of course,
That
whatever.
was tonight, you said?
Yeah, just now. I think
Oh
he's
my God.
probably even still in the chat, so we're like rage baiting him a little bit. But there was something that I think he said in there about like, about the call-in system. But
Oh
you
my
can call in
gosh.
and you can talk about whatever thing you want as long as it's appropriate and related to the topic, and we will have a polite conversation with you. How about that?
How about that?
How about that?
Michael from Oklahoma said it was okay that I accidentally called him Michelle again. Guys, I mix up my letters so bad, okay? Don't judge me. Sorry, Michael. I know you're so kind now. $10 from Kelly Bean. A Ouija board is a freaking board game. I've used one many times. Nothing at all happened. Yeah, I'm not going over that conversation because I don't know what was being said. So, like,
Yeah.
it's confusing. That's for sure.
I used to have Labor Day seance parties with one of my best friends. So like that was what we would do for Labor Day. We were basically like kicking off fall, and
That's so fun.
we would try to play the Ouija board every single summer for the longest time.
Didn't
and
have
only
any luck?
one time we had a really crazy thing happened, but it's a very long story that I will say. Maybe I'll save it for like a Halloween episode because it is a very spooky
Should.
story. And maybe I'll tell the version of it that is like the magic-y version of it. And you
should.
guys can all use your skeptic brains and like pick it apart at home because it's fun to hear like a spooky story. I'll
Yeah.
still tell it spooky story
love it.
style, but we'll save it for October. $5 from Don Quixote. Pineapple, but table on weather sand, bringing paint with tile, sometimes compact. There, I just made as much sense as John. I was like, I'm either having a stroke or something is happening.
You reading that was just my brain, like
That
when
was
I read
so
super chat.
crazy.
So,
Oh my goodness gracious. That was crazy. Hold on, I lost my little tab. Okay. That was really funny.
$5 from Joshua Everett. All these Johns out here lowering the average reading level of Colorado, Arizona, Florida, SMH. Were you here when somebody said that they think that a lot of people just say their name is John? Like that.
Oh.
I don't know who said that. It was either maybe Lux or Sarah, but they were like, yeah, I think a lot of men just say, yeah, John, first thing that
That's
comes
funny.
to mind.
Yeah, that makes sense that people would do that, I guess. But also, like, how many, like, even if your name was super unique, in what world would I be able to find you or recognize you or like whatever? I mean, it doesn't really matter. Who cares? 20 Canadian dollars from David Haxor, maybe. Nobel Surprise. Oh my God, Nobel Surprise was so funny. I was trying not to be rude because I didn't want to be like mean about it because I do think that was like just an honest mistake, but I was like,
Nobel Surprise. You know what? I like that better anyways.
I like that better.
It's a little surprise.
We would win our Nobel Surprise. Yes.
Yeah, I like that better anyway. $10 from, is it David? Hate.
Yeah, I guess David Haxor. That's how I was reading it, but I don't know if that's right.
God made us equal, but men are more equal than women. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the argument, I feel like. And it's just like there's nothing to say back because that's crazy.
Yeah, that's literally the crux of it. $5 from Michael from Oklahoma. Jesus, a construction worker. Can he get some new friends like a policeman, a Native American, a cowboy, and a biker? I might follow them.
No, only fishermen, I feel.
Right. Yes. Yes. Only fishermen.
Michael from Oklahoma, $5. I don't think fear of death is irrational. It's all about how you deal with it and all of life's many uncertainties that defines your character, in my honest opinion. Yeah, I definitely don't think it's irrational at all. Yeah, Sophie said her rational fears were religion and death. I'm like, they ain't Actually,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
not
know if that makes it.
irrational.
I don't know if it makes it worse to be like your fears are valid, but they are.
I mean, that's like it's just not an irrational fear. That makes sense to me. If you're not going to be like, if you are going to be scared of anything, being scared of death makes the most sense. That's the last thing you would do on this earth.
Yeah, I think that's the most common fear, if I had to guess.
Yeah. Okay, this one is $10 from Quinn, and they told me not to try and pronounce your last name and not to worry about
Oh,
it, but I think it's Huang or
okay.
Win, but I don't know. You let me know. Um, just wanted to show support. You women inspire me so much, especially when I often feel so discouraged by being a woman myself in this world. Okay,
Aw,
whatever. That's really nice.
thanks, Quinn. That's so sweet.
Thanks, Quinn. That's really nice. Really kind.
100 something from Vishnu. I'm a Hindu atheist who is fascinated by
Your guess is
you
as good as mine.
Avatara Vedanta. I don't know. I'm so sorry. So much. I would love to know your opinion on, that same name.
If our pronunciation has told you anything, it's that
I mean, I'll
we
write
don't know
it
who that
down
is.
and look it up, but
Yeah, I'll look it up, but I don't know who that is, so we can't give you. I have no opinion at this very moment.
yeah.
But we'll look it up. Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah, I'll do some more. I have a tab open, so I'll look it up later, or like actually read it later. $5 from Melissa and no message, so thank you so much. And another one from Melissa.
$5 from Melissa. Watch John Oliver from last Sunday, Personhood, Autonomy, and Abortion. You will love it. Oh, okay.
Ooh, I
Thanks
think
for the
John
rec.
Oliver's on HBO, perhaps. I don't know. I would love to watch that actually.
I haven't seen it either.
Yeah. Well, we have 3 minutes to spare.
Oh.
What should we talk about for 3 minutes, you guys? Seen any good movies lately?
I went to see the dinosaur movie and I was seriously disappointed.
No.
Like,
Well, I'm glad you saw it before I did.
yeah, it was like a fun movie, like enjoy it, I guess, while you're watching it. But then after you're like, I could have watched that at home, number one. Number two, I'll probably never watch this again. But I was hoping that they would go kind of lean more into horror and thriller, you know what I mean? And because I feel like the Jurassic Park movies are kind of like family movies, if that makes sense. And to me, that's exactly what they did in this one. There's obviously gore and stuff, but yeah, it's very kind of childlike, which I was sad about. And then there was some really weird CGI that I was not prepared for that I really did not like.
That's so disappointing.
But I did see
disappointing.
The advertisement for the second, what is it, Practical Magic? I've literally never seen it.
You see the first one?
No. I know.
It is the coziest fall movie. It is Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock at their prime. They're so gorgeous and hot and perfect.
Watch it.
You gotta watch it.
I have
it's
to add
so
it to my
good.
Halloween list of movies.
It's a good one when you want to watch something that's spooky, but not it's not spooky.
Yeah.
You want to watch something that's like fall-y, but not scary.
Yeah. Like Halloween related.
Yeah. It's like adjacent, and you're gonna like want to live in the kitchen that they have. It's like there's such like a rite of passage that you have to like know the Practical Magic kitchen and all the things.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for you to watch it. You have to tell me when you do.
I definitely have to because I want to see the second one now because it looked good. The advertisement looked good.
I'm so excited.
I'm excited for the Chris Hansen movie with Robert Pattinson. I don't know if we already talked about that.
We can't wait. We did not talk about it. We watched the documentary and it was fucking crazy.
Me too. I literally just watched it a couple days ago and
crazy.
I low-key don't like him, I don't think.
No, I think he's like irresponsible.
Yeah, he's kind of like obsessed with himself, it seems, but I don't like he's very I feel like I don't know if he believes his own lies that he tells himself or if he is okay with just like I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Could you imagine being so obsessed with yourself that you would spend a lifetime fake catching predators just so that you could watch yourself on TV? That's crazy. Anyway,
There,
thank you so
Nana.
much for watching to come. We're gonna send you along to Jovan and Ari in just a second, so stick around here. But thank you to our patrons. If you want to become a patron, you can go to patreon.com/calledline and join us there. Thank you to our mods in the chat and Arden for producing. And I think that's all that I have for you today.
Someone said 3-minute movie podcast. Exactly. Enjoy.
And it was perfect. It was without flaws.
I feel like we could review movies for hours. So
Oh my God, yes. 100%. Thank you for watching.